Aw, squish.
What is up, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Khristian's Customs. Now, right now, I'm working on my Protege 5. I got to do the fuel injector seals for it. That's not what this episode's going to be about. This episode's going to be about update on the channel and a couple other things, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. Let's just go ahead and start from the beginning. I went to go service a customer's vehicle. Upon arrival, I noticed that my phone was dead, so I just left my car running and I hooked my phone up to the charger. It's sitting right next to the vehicle that I'm working on anyways, and I'm going back and forth to get tools, so I'm really not worried about it at all. Plus, it's a manual, so nobody knows how to drive them anymore. It's amazing. Look over and there is smoke just bellowing out of the hood. I run over and turn the key off. When I look, the coolant reservoir is overflowing. Upon further inspection, I was hearing a hissing noise and it turned out to be the 90-degree heater core connector that is located like on the backside of the engine. It was just kind of dripping, so I just hopped back in my car and I tore out to the shop. After I got done with the fix, I took it over to the wash bay because obviously there's coolant everywhere in my engine bay. Popped the hood, hit the engine bay with some degreaser, let it sit for a second, and then power washed it off. Just like every tech in the world is going to do. I mean, you guys know that, right? Like porters and techs, they're not going to bag off all your electronics, do a dry brush and whatnot. I mean, first off, porters, they don't get paid enough to care. Also, techs are flag rate most of the time. If you think that they're getting paid to wash your engine, that's not on the ticket. No, so they're going to treat it like they're not getting paid for it. I hope you guys know that. And so they're going to do the same thing. Pop the hood, spray your engine down with degreaser, and then they're going to hit it with a power washer from about 2 or 3 foot away. You have an engine bay that is specifically designed to get water in it. That's why all the connectors are waterproof. So they're meant to get wet. I promise you. If you're power washing underneath your hood and things are going wrong, you need to service that engine. Like these 626 coil wires right here, they have a boot that is just a press fitting into the valve cover.
You can give them a wiggle, and then I pop those bastards off. Nope, it's still on there tight. All right, come on. There it is.
And I'm telling you now, water's not getting in there whenever I'm power washing. I know for sure because whenever I was like, oh goodness, my car's not starting, that's the first place I checked. I knew there was water somewhere because it wasn't starting. I hopped in, turned the key on. After it started up, it would die immediately. I was like, oh, I felt this before. It feels like there's water in my intake. So I fired it back up and I just revved the hell out of it. It turned out that water had gotten into my fuel rail through my injector seals at the top. I don't really know how. Nothing's leaking fuel, so I think the O-rings are good, but the upper boots are bad. I'm just going to go ahead and fix it all. So the first time I go in to order the injector seals, because for some odd reason, auto parts stores only carry 1 injector seal, even though you need at least 4 or 6 or 8. Hell, Volvo has 5, but I digress. Everywhere I was looking only had 1. So I went to one store, purchased them, had them all shipped there. And while I'm there, I was kind of laughing with the guys about, this is what happened to my car. I think that you should laugh at your own mistakes. Like, if you can't laugh at yourself, you should definitely not laugh at other people. And this dude, no joke, was like, oh, I bag all of my electronic areas and I dry sweep and I do this. And I am laughing the entire time. Because again, you got to think about those porters that don't get paid enough and those techs that are flag rate that aren't getting paid to wash your engine bay, and they ain't doing that stuff. They really don't care. So the next time I come in to pick up the other 3, which turned out to be the next day because even though they told me they'd call me like 3 different times, they never called me. I'm kind of talking to this guy. The conversation pretty much went like this.
What's up?
I'm here to pick up an order for Khristian Customs.
All right, I got you. Here you go.
All right, thanks, man. Well, you guys have a good day. I'll probably be back because this car just keeps on giving me troubles. Well, hold on. What's going on? Oh, I mean, I'm having some sort of EVAP issue. I'll figure it out. It's not a big deal.
You need to, wiggle the deal.
Yep, I did wiggle the deal.
Have you tried to look under the hood and do that one thing?
Yep, I did pop my hood. I wiggled the deal, and I even did that one thing that's like...
Oh, you did do the one thing. All right, maybe you should just buy a Ford.
Come on, man. I'm not buying a car newer than 10 years for multiple reasons. It's a daily driver. And on top of that, why would I replace my Mazda with a Ford when they were essentially the same company for the longest time?
Oh, I hate when people say that. If they're not built in the same factory, then they're not the same company.
Despises something so much that he hates it. And that is the fact that people say that Mazda and Ford are the same car company. Well, I have a short list, examples for you, vehicles that I actually own. And I'm going to show you how close Mazda and Ford really did work together. I am going to go ahead and drop some knowledge on you guys of why it is so common for people to say that Ford and Mazda were the same car company. From like 1974 to 2017, they did work together. I do agree with Rando Parts Guy that they are two separate companies. Mazda won the Le Mans with a rotary, Ford never did. Ford won 3 in a row, Mazda never did.
A few moments later.
Ford Mustang, that's its own deal. The Mazda Speed 6, it's its own deal. But really, like, come on. They worked so close together. So here are a couple examples of why I think that it is completely okay to say that Mazda and Ford were the same car company at one point. All right? Here you go.
And I believe the comment was, if they're not built in the same factory, then they're not the same company. And my rebuttal to that would be this 1988 Mazda 323 GTX, which was built on the same exact factory floors, actually the same exact factory lines, as the Ford Laser TX3, which is the same exact car as this. They were just sold in Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and South America. There are some notable differences, like the bumpers, the headlights, the taillights. They are not interchangeable. They both have the same exact driveline, same exact engine, and again, they were built on the same exact factory lines as the Ford Laser TX3. Just essentially, are you going to the left and becoming a Ford, or are you going to the right and becoming a Mazda? Another weird little coinkydink about Mazda and Ford having such a close relationship, and the fact that Mazda would produce cars in their factories and then label them as Fords. Now, again, I understand they're not the same car companies, but it is quite odd that they're not the same car companies, but they're labeling each other's cars. You got to have a rep or something, right? I don't know how that works. But I know for sure that it was Mazda factory, and they were slapping Ford badging all over it. Another great example of Mazda and Ford working closely together is my Ford F-250. These came with what is called the M5OD, which is the Mazda 5-speed with overdrive, and they came as the R1 or the R2. Really, the R1 is a light-duty version, and the R2 is the HD version. I understand that they are not the same company, but it is quite odd that Mazda is making a transmission for Ford that is an integrated bell housing that fits their small block vehicles, which is going to be like the 4.9 liter straight six, the 5.0 liter V8, and the 351 Windsor. And to be 100% honest, I don't know one car that Mazda used the M5OD transmission in. So if you know which one goes inside of which car or vehicle that is actually Mazda's and not Ford's, let me know. Or how about my Mazda Speed 3 that's built on the Ford C chassis and had a 2.3 liter DISI, bro, we call them Dizzies, turbocharged engine that was built in Japan, but it wasn't JDM spec. Some guys are like, well, they're not JDMs. I don't really know, man. It was built in Japan, just so happened to be built for here in America and like a couple other places. Those 2.3 liter DISIs are oddly enough labeled with FOMOCO. I'll walk you through a little bit of the engine stuff. Here's a DISI timing cover. It says right there, FOMOCO casted into it. So here I have Jaden's 2.3 liter bottom end, and you can always tell it's the 2.3s because the way that the oil filter is attached right here. It has the 2.5 liter Duratec cylinder head, which is probably the reason why it looks a little odd. But if we come down here, and you can see right there that the FOMOCO is casted into the block. But I'm positive that one is a 2.3 liter because, well, first off, I pulled it out of that Mazda Speed 6. Also, the fact that we pulled another one out of another Mazda Speed 6, and it says FOMOCO on it. And I have a Mazda Speed 3 over there that is also another 2.3 liter that says FOMOCO on it. What's very odd about all of it is they were built in Japan in a Mazda factory, but they were stamped with FOMOCO on them, which is quite odd for them to say FOMOCO and only be in the Mazda Speed 3s and Mazda Speed 6s, CX-7s. Quite odd for somebody to say that Ford and Mazda aren't the same company, even though they're allowed to stamp each other's engines with the other person's logo. I want you all to know that I love Mazda and I love Ford. I love my 323 GTX so much that I have it tattooed on the back of my left calf. Yeah, for real.
Kieran, Triple Black Tattoo. That guy is my dude. His Instagram is Goose Tattoo, and he is fantastic. If you want some ink done, you should hit him up. And you should get Mazda tattooed on you. Well, I hope y'all learned something. Make sure you hit me up in the comments. Maybe talk about a little more Ford and Mazda stuff. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and you'll see me next time.